This 3-rule system made me a menace in Dune Imperium. What's up, guys? Fremen Walker here, and today I'm going to share with you my 3-rule system that I use every time I play Dune Imperium, and it's going to totally change the way you guys think about the game. I start my journey off fresh, picking Leto Atreides not least of all for his handsome beard, but also to try to give myself some extra influence with his boss signet ring ability. I think we'll take Leto. Okay, so I go first, and I find myself the first person to act, and I immediately blunder and make a huge mistake, violating the first rule that I created in this system. Respect position. Like a non-Dune native blindly blundering around the desert, I play 2 troops and immediately get overtaken by Vladimir von Harkonnen's masterstroke. We will deploy troops with the intention of, Alright, yeah, so Harkonnen's just gonna win this one. Yeah, we could have played Hardy Warriors there, but I think it would be more important for us to get the water. While twirling my hair and talking about everything that I'm actually doing, you can actually hear me even say, I'm out of position in this conflict. We're out of position too with this conflict, so that's something to be aware of. Well, what do I mean by that? Well, if you've ever played poker, odds are you'll know what I'm talking about. Position refers to play order. If you're in early position or you're first to act, you don't have as much information as people who are acting behind you or acting later than you, and you don't know what they're gonna do. To make matters worse, the depressed hippie with the long beard, Errol Memon Thorvald, could have easily deployed 2 troops and tied me for this conflict and taken away my ability to get an intrigue card. Assuming nobody else messes with our plan. So Arcane, that's fine. Am I the only one that thinks he looks like a depressed hippie? I mean, seriously, Leto's over there looking all regal. Ariana at least looks presidential. Baron von Harkonnen looks like he overate, but he's still about to fuck you up pretty badly. And then you got Errol Memon Thorvald. He's just sitting there. He's all like, kind of like depressed. He almost looks like he lost his guitar out in space or something. But anyway, I got lucky. Errol Memon Thorvald reveals he had a dagger in hand, and had he chosen to, he could have deployed an extra troop to at least tie me for the conflict and deny the intrigue card, but it didn't happen. We also... Peter. Alright. Oh, damn, he had 5... Jesus. Yeah, fuck. It was really strong. Oh, Lady Jessica. Jeez, yeah, these reveals. I mean, we're gonna have to start doing something here. Yeah, next turn's gonna be a nice reveal turn. I only have one of my convincing arguments. We take the conflict down in second place, happily picking up an intrigue card and some Solari, and that intrigue card not only lands us a victory point in our laps, but also gives us access to one of the best spaces on the board, Siege Tower, which you need to influence with the Fremen to get, something that our intrigue card happily provided us. Know their ways. Okay, that's awesome, because then we have access to Siege Tower whenever we want it. The next round not only reinforces that lesson, but in harsh desert fashion, I find myself reminded of the second painful lesson in Dune. Always be flexible. We're last to act and looking forward to using our signet ring in order to gain some more influence and build ourselves a better position, but not even 30 seconds go by before we draw our initial hand and all the spice spaces on the board have been completely taken. Convincing argument, signet ring... Yeah. So what does the spice actually get us? Jeez, I didn't even have a chance to take the spice. I was kind of thinking about my own thing. I really wasn't paying attention. So that means we have to find another way to get spice now. Damn, I mean, I wanted to use my signet ring. These are the moments in Dune and most strategy games that matter most. When you're totally on your ass, your plan's got out the window, you've been punched in the face, as Mike Tyson likes to say, and now you gotta come up with a different plan. I start off by grabbing my Swordmaster and sort of seeing where everyone else is gonna place their agents this round. Now, we could go Research Station now. I think we can go Swordmaster this turn too. Then I get too big for my britches and turn into the flesh-colored Aquaman that decides he can take on the whole desert himself, and I didn't pass 3rd grade because I ended up doing the math wrong to grab Lady Jessica. Okay, so there is a chance that I could get Lady Jessica here.
Nope.
2, 3, 4.
Nope.
Yeah, if I don't draw all daggers, I can get it.
Nope.
Oh no, I miscalculated. Damn it. I blundered. There's no point in deploying. Guild Ambassador is good. Guild Administrator is good. Yeah, I just messed up the math. That's unfortunate. Can't count, because I had to subtract 1 from the signet ring that I used. My saving grace was that our research station allowed me to get 6 reveal power, and I was able to grab Guild Administrator and Guild Ambassador, both cards that were going to be invaluable in the journey to come. Totally not something that was on my conscious mind at the moment, but it did end up saving me later. Sometimes, you just get lucky and the desert blows a good wind your way. But the desert is still the desert, and I was painfully reminded of that on round 3 when I started off with nothing. No spice, no water, no Solari, and only 1 troop in the bank. Even worse, the conflict rewards were massive, and they lead me right into the 3rd rule of my system. Think of agents as time, and think of anything that gains you extra resources that an agent would have gotten you as extra time. In this case, the conflict rewards were massive. 2 free influence anywhere you wanted. That's 2 free agents that you don't have to spend anywhere else. That's 2 free turns, and 2 free turns is an extra round in the game. The winner of this conflict got to play another round without anybody else. Almost like stopping time in Skyrim and swinging your sword at a Draugr 4 times before it can do anything to you. It was a massive reward, and I had to have it. This is where I decided to make use of one of Leto Atreides' devastating combos. If you've got the right cards, you can go Secure Contract into Rally Troops into a massive combat presence, and you can do it because he only requires 3 Solari instead of 4 to rally troops. So, with absolutely no resources, you can grab 3 Solari, then rally troops, and then blow the board away. And that's exactly what I did. As a bonus, due to my flexible picks during the reveal phase, I was able to play Guild Administrator to ditch a card while getting the Solari I needed. Then I played Guild Ambassador to grab 2 free spice while I rallied the troops. I think we can just take rally troops. And the cherry on top, my opponents didn't respect position, so I was able to just walk in there and grab the conflict basically unopposed. Earl Memon Forvald committed 2 troops, and then I immediately play Arakeen, draw a card, throw all my rally troops into the conflict, and get a free round of play, literally because my opponents were too busy doing other things, and they weren't paying attention to the fact that I had position. Carthag's not really where we want to be, but I think we come in here. Here. We want the Empire influence, and we want probably Fremen too. Despite all the early successes though, I couldn't help but feel that I was behind as I started the next round. Harkonnen had 4 victory points and was in prime position to get his Swordmaster, and everybody else on the board had way more water than I did, which is to say, I had none, and they all had at least 2. I was going into this round needing more spice in order to fuel my adventures, but not having the water to actually do it. I debated just doing the rally troops move from last turn, because after all, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, but I thought about something better. I realized that if I didn't have any water, I was gonna need a way to get some spice, and I decided to go ahead and take one of our principles into action, the time principle. I end up using the signet ring to go ahead and grab myself 2 spice, and then I use one of the spice to get myself an influence with the Bene Gesserit. One free turn, one free agent that I don't have to place anywhere else, and I can do it with just 1 stroke. Then I realized a key factor in the round, the troop count. Then again, this is looking like a free victory point, unless somebody else can come up with an easy way to get spice. Once I realized that nobody else really had the troops to contest me, thanks to my rally troops bank from last turn, I decided I had the latitude to go ahead and just grab an intrigue card from one of the most popular blue spaces on the board. So I went ahead and did that, and then got presented with even more gifts from the desert. Staged Incident. Staged Incident is so good because it means that if you fight for a conflict and lose, you can still turn that loss into a victory by harvesting some of your troops for a free victory point. Okay, and then if he beats me, the plan is to play Staged Incident, get a victory point anyway? I deploy enough troops that just to tie me, Earlman Thorvald has to expend his remaining troops in his troop bank. Troop bank. I didn't say barracks, I didn't say arsenal. Troop bank was the best I could come up with? Really? Anyway, I deploy more troops, and it turns out that the 6th troop lead I had over Earlman Thorvald mattered every bit. Oh, man. He plays Private Army, and Ariana plays Rapid Mobilization. They both get a bunch of troops into the fray, and none of it matters because I end up on top by 1 troop, and I still have Staged Incident in my back pocket in case there's ever a battle that's too big for me to win. Okay, I don't think we want to play Staged Incident. We want to save Staged Incident for a conflict we're not gonna win. I get myself another victory point, tying myself with Baron von Harkonnen, and, as a cherry on top, I get to ditch another card I don't want. Really starting to thin out the deck here, thankfully. Here comes what I think is my favorite moment in this game, and probably my favorite moment of Dune to date. In a horrific moment of inspiration, I find out that I'm first on the board, and I immediately identify the space that everybody wants. Haga Basin. It's got 4 spice and only requires 1 water. That's 2/3 the cost of a highliner and double the spice output of the space normally. I knew that people were going to be gunning for it, and I was totally up in arms because I wasn't going to be able to grab it first. And then it hit me. Actually, you know what? What if we play the voice here, and then we block? Yeah, that's the fucking play right there. Alright, so check this out. We're gonna block this. Okay, so now they can't play that, and by the time it comes around to me, we can. Once I got that carry-all of spice, 4 spice, for 1 water, I knew I had to build on that resource lead somehow. I looked around for ways to try to expand. With Guild Administrator, Spice Smuggler, and Guild Ambassador in my hand, I had all the ways in the world to turn spice into influence and influence into spice. It was just a question of how best to deploy them all. I follow that turn up with another devastating play. I play Guild Administrator onto the Mentat space, and I pay 1 Solari to draw a card and then take another influence. Both 2 things that would normally require an agent each to do, so I got 50% agent efficiency off of 1 play. Do we care about spice here? I think we just want the space and guild influence. And as if things didn't get any better, the Mentat is an agent in its own right, so I got my next chance to do what I'd been wanting to do since I grabbed that spice at the beginning of the round, play Highliner. This turn and this round were shaping up to be a Dune player's wet dream. I had 7 spice, nobody could oppose me for Highliner, I was the last to act, and I had in my hand the ability to ditch a card with Guild Administrator at the same time. So I was going to pay 6 spice, have a bunch of troops, win the conflict, and then win myself an intrigue card and 3 spice. Because I got 4 spice from Haga Basin, I literally financed a Highliner, got myself an additional spice and intrigue card, and got double the water I started the round with. Or at least, that was all in theory, assuming I'd win the conflict. Ariana and Earl Mem and Thorvald both had 2 intrigue cards apiece, and they definitely could manipulate the outcome in their favor. But here I decided to take a gamble. Sometimes in Dune, you have to take chances, and I figured I could play a staged incident, lose 3 of the troops from the Highliner, still be in first place on paper, grab a victory point, and still have enough troops to win the conflict. Yeah, nobody's even taken the Hatteratch. Stage incident I can do. If you want the victory that bad, go ahead and take it. And it paid. I start the next round in a straight up better position than I did the round before. I had 1 more spice, 2 more water, I was in the lead for victory points, and I was poised to basically play another Highliner because it was such a spice efficient turn. The next round I was worried that Ariana was going to take the spice away from me by playing the Great Flat first, but she didn't. She went ahead and played Cartha. That freed Daddy Leto up to go ahead and step on into the Great Flat with a Signet Ring and gain yet another influence point, again with the Bene Gesserit, picking up all the spice I needed to repeat my Highliner and give myself another victory point. So, Signet Ring here. And just to show you guys how powerful it is to play based off these principles, I touched the Bene Gesserit victory point at 2 influence without ever even playing a Bene Gesserit card. That's how powerful Leto's Signet Ring is. You can spend 2 spice to literally just get 2 free turns. You can think of the resources, particularly influence, as just free turns, and Leto is the god of manufacturing all those. I was in Luxury Town. The next round, I realized the rest of the board was so impoverished, I didn't even need to go for Highliner right away. Nobody else can play Highliner this turn though, so maybe we want to draw a card instead. Feeling good, I lazed on down to Arrakeen, picking up myself a free card, troop, reveal point, and all the goodies in the world, while not having to worry once about who was going to take my Highliner away from me. It seemed like the Dune gods were smiling on me this game. Even my laziness had a positive influence on the game. Baron von Harkonnen made a critical mistake, paying 2 spice to play for Fremen Camp and putting his troops out into the conflict too early, and it was going to cost him. If we win this, we've been really economical with our spice this game. In my hubris, though, I made a mistake. I didn't deploy all the troops from Highliner, and that allowed Earl Mem and Thorvald to actually use his Hatteratch to get a Highliner himself. Oh, what? He made a mistake by not deploying all the troops and tying me for first place. He let me get the victory point, but it was still something I had to keep in mind for next time. Complacency kills, especially in the desert. So we could steal the Fremen Alliance. I mean, that's an option. I start off the next round in a bit of an awkward spot. I drew everything except what I needed to trigger the Highliner, but I decided to go for the spice and then try to get out of that situation anyway. Early on in the round, I identified the win condition, But I was still really tunneled on the 2 victory points offered by the conflict rewards. So tunneled, in fact, that I was totally oblivious to the fact that I had already won the game, I just didn't know it. Bemoaning my situation, I play a pretty sickly Siege Tabber, and I almost played Guild Ambassador and threw it all away. So Guild Ambassador, we've got the Space and Guild Alliance. Yeah, let's Mentat first. Give ourselves some options. Damn it, he rallied troops. Okay. So we could... Yeah, doesn't feel great. None of this feels great. And yeah, so we'll have exactly 10 research station. Man, that Hatteratch is putting in some serious work. And then I realized I was already there all along. I might just pass, dude. The Dune gods had buried my victory in the sands, deep within one of the cards that I picked up at the beginning of the game, and I was so blinded, so inflexible, so tunneled on winning that conflict and trying to figure out a way to prevent my opponents from winning it that I didn't realize I had it all there. With 10 victory points and the sun on my shoulders, I watched as everyone else burned their intrigue cards and got the last of their victory points in. And somehow, somewhere, I knew that this was going to be material that I could dredge up and present to you guys. A gift, a bottle of water in the desert, something everybody can use. Well guys, that's it for this gameplay. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something. Sandwalk safely and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. See you next time. I do like the Leto Atreides signet ring, though. That one influence definitely helped. And I mean, if I look at my influence across the board,